bit of TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. Video coming up today following on from our very disappointing performance and result against Levante yesterday. And we are going to be discussing Ernesto Valverde in some more detail because, as we know, many question marks have been raised over Ernesto Valverde in terms of his capabilities at the helm of Barcelona, and believe me, there are so many flaws in his management. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about what he actually says, the words that come out of his mouth, and in particular, how damaging and worrying that is for Barcelona right now. Because for me, Valverde has lost the plot. What he is seeing out there is not what we are seeing. All of us, we are seeing things, we are seeing glaring problems, but it seems to me, at least on the face of it, that Valverde just turns a blind eye. He sees something that is not there. He is putting a team out there and completely oblivious to what is going wrong. And in today's video, we're going to be exploring all of that mentality from Valverde and why it is such a problem. Because look here, guys, many of the top coaches right around world football can actually be very calculated when it comes to press conferences, when it comes there to facing the media. Because for many coaches, it's another way there of showing your character, showing your leadership, and actually clearly communicating what your ideas are, what your philosophy is to the general public. For instance, often fans can look to their coaches, can really look to them there for inspiration, for wisdom, for comfort. They look to their coaches in those press conferences to come out there and give them that insight. That is the closest that we can get to the dressing room. What comes out of a coach's mouth is really what we can build on, what we can work with. What we hear from coaches is the be-all, end-all. And that is why, for me, when you hear what Valverde comes out with game after game after game, it's so damaging. And actually, it's downright disturbing. Because again, some of the top coaches will use the media to their own advantage. They'll come out after games, they'll come out before games, and they'll particularly use the media to shield their players, to defend their players. Some will come out and actively ask for more from their players, and some will come out and downright demand more from their players, really come out there and actually throw some players under the bus and show I'm not taking any prisoners. But Valverde does none of those things. He doesn't go against them, he doesn't demand more. All that he does is come out and time after time after time, he ignores the obvious and ultimately he admits defeat. You think about Liverpool, you think about when that team collapsed against Liverpool, when they went out there and they got beat on their own. Valverde came out after the game. He said, what did he say? What did he say? He said, it is what it is. That is what our coach, our leader, the man there at the helm of everything, after such a damaging game, comes out and says, it is what it is. That's the guy we're dealing with. And it was exactly the same just a week or so ago against Slavia Prague when Barcelona were dreadful in the Champions League away from home. And he actually came out after the game and he was directly asked there by journalists. They said, look, Barcelona in this game were nowhere near the level they should have been. They said, you can see from the stats, Slavia Prague ran more, they worked harder than this Barcelona team. What's your thoughts on that? Valverde came out, this is what he said. He didn't say, we need to work harder, we need to do more. He didn't single out the players there and demand some more effort. He came out and said, the first thing we need to know is if that data is accurate. Yes, it is accurate. You will know that because they will have monitors, they will have checkers on every single player, and he will know those players are not working hard enough. But this is what I mean. Valverde just turns a blind eye. He is completely oblivious to what is going on the pitch. He keeps making excuses for the players. You think about it yesterday. You think about what they did out there on the field. He came out after the game and he said the following. He said, when rivals play against us, it's always the game of the year for them. They always up their level. What does that mean? What kind of excuse is that? You are the Barcelona coach. You know these players are going to raise their level because you know in La Liga, when we come up against a team, of course, it's a David and Goliath situation because you think about the amount of money we have spent there on our players. You think about the amount of money that it cost there to assemble our squad compared to Levante. Of course, Levante are going to raise the level. Of course, they're going to raise their game. But what does that mean? How is that an excuse for our players? You're basically saying there, oh, it's okay, guys, don't worry. They've actually put in a bit more effort than us because it's the game of the year for them. So if you don't want to try, that's okay. No, stop stop making excuses for these players. Just because the opponents raise their level doesn't mean that we shouldn't be given 100%. We should be out there matching that level. We should be out there with that same desire. But this is what I mean. Is Valverde demanding that level? No, he's not. No, he is not. He lets the players get away with murder. And you know the worst thing about all this? I actually believe right now that Valverde, in his own mind, this is what I mean about Valverde, has he lost the plot? Because I believe in his own mind right now, he actually thinks we're doing okay, and that's the biggest problem. And that's why we don't see the changes. He was asked there in the press conference yesterday, was there a lack of reaction after the 3-1? Valverde said, I don't know. Always a good thing when your coach comes out and says, I don't know. We're looking to you for answers. Give us something. He said, I guess they've been more successful in this game than we have been. Until the first goal, I thought we had good control in the game. What game are you watching? What are you watching out there, Ernesto? We did not have control, not for a single second of that game. Our goal came from a penalty kick that actually shouldn't have even been given because Griezmann was offside in the build-up. So we shouldn't have even got that first goal. We were never, ever in control of this game, so what are you watching? Because right now, Valverde is either a blatant liar. He comes out after the game, he says that we're in control. He does this all of the time. And so, does he come out and lie? Does he actually say that we're in control, but deep down he knows we're struggling? Or, and this is what I mean about him losing the plot, does he actually think we are in control? Is Valverde out there actually thinking, yeah, this is good. This is Barcelona play. This is how I want us to play. Because that's ridiculous. That is not how a coach should be setting up his team. And if he thinks that's right, that's an even bigger problem right now for Barcelona. But I want to go back there to the Slavia Prague game because he actually said something even worse than everything we discussed in today's video. He was asked about the Barcelona style, and this is again the problem where I feel Valverde thinks he's doing okay. He was basically asked about the way we're playing in games. Are we having enough control? Are we running enough? Are we working hard enough? And he came out there and he said this. Cruyff always said you have to run less than your rival. Running is not important. And I would say, yeah, Johan Cruyff had it absolutely right. If your play is good enough, if you've got so much control over the ball and control over the opposition, you don't need to run. The ball will do the work. The problem is we don't have the ball. We don't have that control, Valverde, so we have to run. If we don't run in your system, we are completely destroyed. That's the problem. We are not a Johan Cruyff team. We do not play with the ball. We do not command teams with the ball. We do not dominate teams anymore. So if we don't run, we have nothing. We're not a Cruyff team. You are not Johan Cruyff. What are you doing? And that's the problem. What is going on in his mind? Does he think he's doing a good job? Does he think this team is capable of winning everything, playing like this? Because that's an even bigger issue. If he actually believes that, we're not going to improve. We're not going to change things. We're going to keep making the same mistakes. And that's what we're seeing from Valverde. That's what we've seen right throughout his tenure. Mistake after mistake after mistake. And nothing at all done to change that. And it really does hurt, guys. It really does hurt. Of course, this video here coming out today is me getting very angry, probably upset, disappointed. Of course I am. But it's more the fact that we don't change. I would actually there make allowances for this team. I would give Valverde the benefit of the doubt if we could see some of these mistakes rectified. If we could see something out there in these games that shows that we are going to change. But nothing up until this point has actually made me believe that we're going to do anything about it. And that's the problem. Making mistakes is one thing, but not learning from them, that's worse. There is nothing worse than that, and that's the biggest problem for us this season. Are we going to learn from these? Are we going to do anything to change our fortunes? Because if we keep making the same mistakes, we're going to come up against it in the Champions League knockout stages, and you all know what's going to happen. We saw it against Roma, we didn't learn from that, it happened again against Liverpool. What's going to happen this year? Embarrassment after embarrassment after embarrassment. And Barcelona fans, we as proud Barcelona fans, we will not stand for that. And like I say, guys, I'm sorry to have to do this to you on a Sunday afternoon. I want you all to enjoy your weekend. Of course I do. But at the same time, we've got to speak out about this. We have to speak out about the fact that Barcelona just don't learn. Just don't learn. The manager to the players, they've got to work harder. They've got to do more. They should be out there on the training field now, going through drill after drill after drill, understanding what keeps going wrong. But are they doing that? Do they care enough? That's the big question here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments comments down below, guys, on Ernesto Valverde, on his mentality, on the things that he comes out and says after games, in his press conferences. What do you make of all this? What did you make of the performance yesterday? And do you see any light at the end of the tunnel under Valverde? Will he change? Will he enforce any changes? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm sorry about this again, guys, but I had to come out and do this. I had to come out and say it because it was burning a hole in me. We've got to talk about it. Let me know your thoughts. I will see you soon. But until next time, thank you for your support. Visca el Barça.